Show me what you've got. That's the message from new Blues coach Brad Fittler to New South Wales players hoping to play Origin next year. Fittler has signed on for the next 2 seasons and has promised a clean slate to all players, saying he will pick his team on club form.
Ready to go?
Yep, ready to go.
A young man out there, the youngest ever State of Origin player.
Fittler's going to score! Fittler is scoring! James Tedesco appropriately puts it over the line in front of the sea of Blasie's Blues.
Hi, I'm Brad Fittler, coach of the Brydens Lawyers NSW Blues. Now, it's this time of the year where we're normally playing State of Origin, but because of the pandemic, we can't do that. But what we want to do is give you an insight into the genuine reason why we pick our players. Sit back and enjoy this.
Yeah, to play Origin it was a dream come true, and yeah, I think the off season was good for me just to kind of relax and get away from it for a bit, and now I'm ready to go again and really looking forward to it.
Now, there's 2 games leading into the Origin where it confirmed to me that Nathan Cleary was going to be the halfback. The first one was against the West Tigers. There was a goal kick from the sideline after the bell had gone. You need to kick the goal to go into extra time. He goes into extra time and kicks the field goal to win the game. The other game was the one leading into Start of Origin, was against Parramatta. There's a lot of conjecture about who was going to be a halfback. Penrith weren't going very well at all. Nathan coming off an injury. And in that game, he just turned it on. And I remember going up to him after the game, sitting next to him saying, well, you better get your gear ready because you've got to come into Origin. He's someone who, his genuine efforts throughout the game is something Start of Origin is based on and he's famous for. We do stats and numbers and figures on things that we really admire in players and what they do in a game, and Nathan Cleary wins them every week. It was a really interesting part of the start of the season because our 5A from the year before, James Maloney, wasn't doing that great a job for Penrith, and we place a huge importance on you being a great player for your club. And if you looked at the start of the season for Cody Walker, he'd scored 11 tries, he had 11 try assists, he was doing everything off the ball, he was just doing a wonderful thing for South Sydney, and that's why they were sitting near the top of the table. The game didn't go entirely his way, but when he went back on for the second stint, we saw what Cody Walker can provide. A couple of opportunities, set up one try, and in the last minute we nearly set up a try down the left-hand side, all due to his instinct and him playing off the cuff. Fantastic player, and there's a good chance you might see him in the future. Well, Nick Cotric spent the whole of 2018 in as the 18th player and did an unbelievable job, and it's something I take notice of. I remember Wade Graham a long time ago, when I first started coaching City, came in as the 18th man, and he was the best player in our camp. And I've got to say, Nick Cotric was very similar. I coached him in some of the junior Origin teams, and you could tell from then he was so much stronger and faster, and the ability he had at that age. But I was always wondered whether he could transfer that into first grade. I've got to say, he's done an incredible job at such a young age. There's a few things that Nick, when I think of Nick Cotric, I think of no errors, and I think he comes out of trouble. Having a trustworthy winger is extremely makes it easy for the coach. And then the other thing he does so well is bring the ball out of trouble. He runs the ball like a front row. He's hard to tackle. He pulls out of tackles. He leaves players on ground all the time. And then the other stuff, he's brilliant. He's a great finisher. He's fast. I like everything about Nick Cotric. He's going to be a New South Wales player for a long time. And the starter's been a great 18th man. Well, he's your genuine superstar, without a doubt. At the age of 20 or 21, we picked him in 2018. Without him, I'm not sure if we win down in Melbourne. Just a couple of plays that he came up with, I'm not sure if anyone else could have done. He has the ability to score tries or beat players or just create opportunities, which I've never ever seen in rugby league before. So it was only a given that in 2019 he was one of our first picked. Latrell Mitchell, a real star of the game. One of my more enjoyable phone calls was making a phone call to Josh Morris, playing for the Sharks. I think everyone had respect for Josh as a defender. But I've got to say his attack at the start of the 2019 season was just fantastic, scoring plenty of tries, creating opportunities for his outside men. So when there was a few things going on at the time, there was a few injuries, and when I asked him if he wanted to come in, he said he'd love to. I think, given what the boys had done the year before, I'm sure a lot of players would have liked to have been part of the group. He just knew Josh would handle the camp. He's played plenty of Origin games. He's come up with some of our greatest New South Wales moments. I just remember him dragging himself off the ground after he thought he'd done his knee, possibly finished for the season, to get up and make a tackle on Greg Inglis, and then also make one on the goal post to save a try on Greg Inglis as well. He's been an incredible New South Wales player, and I was extremely grateful that he was able to come in and join us for the first game. It was the second season for Josh Addo-Carr. We picked him the year before. He did a brilliant job. The thing I love about Josh Addo-Carr is we place a big importance on first impressions. And there wouldn't be a person in the world that's met Josh Addo-Carr that hasn't walked away impressed. The amount of energy he brings to every situation, whether it's training, game, function, promotion, he just puts all his energy into the moment, and it's something that State of Origin and great State of Origin teams have plenty of those players, because it can't be about what you just do on the field. It's got to be about what you do leading up to the game, and Josh Addo-Carr does that wonderfully. The thing he's done over the last couple of years, he's created a game that's been able to back that up. He's obviously got the speed, but he's also making tackles. He brings the ball out of trouble, and his effort off the ball. And it's been that energy that he's brought to the group. It's why we gave him the True Blue award last year. Thoroughly deserved. But when you look at Angus Crichton, it's hard not to like what you see. He's big, he's fast, he's mobile, he's tough. The thing I really like is how he's adapted. He's adapted from rugby union to rugby league. He's adapted from one club to another. He's adapted from one position to another, then one side of the field to another. And the thing is, he just keeps delivering. It might take time sometimes, but in the end, his persistence and resilience, he just delivers. Now, Coach Payne Haas is a 15-year-old. It's funny because his birthday's late in the year, so he's normally the youngest in any footy team. And just watching him in a drill up against kids 3 years older, and you had to wrestle and then run a shuttle 10, 20, 30. He won every single one. He was 110 kilo and he was beating 75 kilo whippets. It was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. He's such an athlete. And I've got to say, he's a real pleasure to have in a team. He's always the biggest, he's the fittest, he's the best, but he's just got this mannerism about him. He's so polite, so kind, and so gentle, which is amazing being a front rower. In game one, I thought a few players got to him a little bit. Players out of his own team, I think Dave Fafita and a few others, just pulled the wool over his eyes and he was a little bit naive. I think Payne Haas is the player of our day that, if given the opportunity, or if he takes the opportunity, could be one of the best of all time. I've always liked Jack Wighton as a player, whether it's at left wing, right centre, fullback, and just recently at 5'8" with the Canberra Raiders. I've just loved the way he's been able to get his aggression and been able to use his size and speed as best he can. The one thing I think as playing 5'8", what it's brought though, it's just allowed him to see the game better. It's brought in his kicking game, his left foot kicking game, which has just gotten better and better over time, and it's just allowed him a level of calmness that you can only get as a 5'8" and a ball player. One of my favourite conversations was with Jack Wighton after the game at Brisbane. He threw an intercept pass, but you could tell he was trying to win the game, and that's what we encourage. And then what convinced me the next day is when I saw the photo of Jack Wighton bringing the ball out of trouble, and just the way he's trying to break the tackle and just how much energy and effort he's putting into that run just absolutely convinced me that he's going to be part of my team going forward.